All right. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you all. Now we can get that energy back up. Can I hear you? Yeah, I don't like to get things like too early. So yes, my name is Simon Pampiner. Just a bit about me. I'm a pure mathematician, so I don't really care about this too much. The applications, okay, let's see what happens. Maybe you can get me somewhere on time, preferably if I don't have to drive. Okay, so we're going to have a really great debate today. It's going to be fantastic. I just wanted to acknowledge the traditional owners and continuing custodians on the country on which we are standing right now. That's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to traditional elders past, present and emerging. We learn a lot from our First Peoples, and also as someone who works at Museum Victoria, we do fantastic work together. So, this is going to be fun. Is that what you're expecting? It's like, no, what? Not fun, no. No, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be illuminating. We have some fantastic speakers here today. And the debate topic, who knows what the debate topic is? Just trying to get some buy-in from the crowd. Do you know what you're here for? Decision making. Decision making is better left to machines than humans. So, do we have any humans in the audience? Any machines? More. Put your hand down. Okay, so these cyborgs are getting weird. Okay, so and we have two fantastic teams who will be debating. So I thought maybe, because they do have to convince you all, maybe we'll try and understand a bit about who we have in our fabulous crowd today. So hands up if you are involved in any way with either artificial intelligence or machine learning. Okay, does that help anyone there? Okay, so you didn't have to put your hands up. You don't have to reveal your cards. And anyone who is not involved in artificial intelligence or machine learning, put your hand up. Okay, now that's not a full complement of the crowd. Did everyone understand what I just asked? Okay, I expected that would be 100%. Maybe I need to ask another question. Hands up if you refuse to put your hands up when requested. Okay, no one fell for that one. All right. You all answered that like a machine. Ooh, very interesting. Okay, so we do have some fantastic teams. I would like to introduce them to you now. We have here on this fabulous table the affirmative team. We have, and please save your applause for the end. I know how much there might be people who are banking. It's like, oh, that's my person. We have Kelvin Davis, Dr. Savandi Kandanarachi, and Professor Peter Stuckey for Team Machine. Put your hands together for them. Look at that, humans showed you some love, that's great. So they will be arguing that decision making is absolutely better left to machines. And then for the negative today, we have the other fabulous table. We have, speaking first, Professor Kate Smith-Miles. Speaking second, Vivek Katayal, and speaking third, Professor Peter Taylor. Put your hands together for Team Human. They're going to be saying decision making is absolutely better left to humans. Okay, so we got a fantastic setup here. We have the team that supports artificial intelligence, and we have the opposite of that. I don't know, what is the opposite of artificial intelligence? Let's put artificial intelligence, real stupidity. No, did I do that incorrectly? Forgive me, I'm only human. And I don't want to do any bias here today, I don't want to say that. Machines, you're going to destroy democracy. Okay, that's how the crowd felt about that. All right. So anyway, we're going to hear a very interesting debate. There's going to be ideas. And I need you to take note, because guess who is judge and jury in this debate? 2 thumbs in the air and point them to yourselves. So you will be adjudicating, which I think is quite interesting, because you will be making the decisions. And as we know, most of you are human, except for the human who's going to come after me. All right, so let me explain how this is going to work today. Each of these speakers is going to speak for 3 minutes each. At 2 minutes and 30, I will be saying 30 seconds left. And then after that, I'll be saying time. But seeing as they're human, even the people who are arguing against humans, they might go over. So we'll see what happens there. I would say, as you are adjudicating, don't listen to any ideas that happen after 3 minutes. But of course, democracies are messy, and I don't know how it's going to go. So please do that. We'll hear from each team, and once we've heard from everyone, we will hear an additional speech from each team, which will be composed of rebuttals. That will be another 3 minutes, and then after that time, their future is in your hands. Anyone want to leave? Some people might call some friends to come along. Time to take some people down. Anyway, are we ready for our debate? Please give them some energy. Put your hands together. First up, I have a PhD candidate at Monash University studying optimization applied to crop breeding and genomic selections, something I think would be very important for the future. For our first speaker for the affirmative team machine, please put your hands together and welcome Kelvin Davis.
All right, so first question, how did you all get here? How many of you use Google Maps, Uber, Lyft, any of the sort? If you did, I'd like to congratulate you on making the right decision. I woke up at 6 this morning, started walking, bought a Millways from my local newsagent, and that was a total waste of time. I would like to start off back in 2015. Some friends and I were organizing a camping trip to Blair Gowrie. There were 12 of us, but there was a problem. The house we booked... Oh, right, gotcha. Okay. The house we booked had only 3 beds, or 3 queen beds, and 2 bunk beds, a floor and a couch, right? The problem, who gets what bed and who sleeps on the floor, right? A kind of problem that would destroy friendships. So how did we solve this? Well, I went to task, I wrote an algorithm to decide who sleeps in what bed each night, such that everyone gets as much opportunity to sleep in a queen bed, right? People get variety of who they get to sleep with, and people get equal opportunity to sleep on the floor. Every night was an experience. Machines are posed to do some wonderful things to enrich the lives of humans, right? From doing scheduling for us to doing path planning, protein folding, deciding how proteins get structured, or how proteins end up folding from their base amino acids into structures that can attach to certain compounds, and plant breeding, right? Plant breeding is something we've been doing for thousands of years, just by observing the plant and seeing, okay, I like this plant best, right? But with recent advances in DNA technology, right, we have billions of we have access to the entire genome, billions of base pairs, but that is too much information for humans to handle, right? But if we get to utilize all that information, we can make better decisions on which plants we breed. Now, climate change is coming, and climate change has the potential to sort of not eradicate the plants, but sort of decrease our yields to an extent that we're predicted to have famines within 50 years. We do not have time to not use machines for this kind of problem. And that is the benefit that machines can bring to the table. This is why we should trust machines.
Thank you. I was just about to say 30 seconds. Big round of applause for our first speaker. Okay. I love the fact that the machine actually broke what we had planned. That's fantastic. Any speakers, if you would like, you can actually use that microphone or you can use the lectern. It's up to you guys. But it is preferable to actually be amplified, just so the viewers at home can actually see. Okay, fantastic. That was a really great way to start, I think. I heard some very relatable experiences about my student days. And also, I love the pressure cell. You do not have time to wait. You definitely need the machines. We are your salvation. Ooh, sounds like I'm about to buy something. Okay, that's fantastic. Of course, against my own will. Okay, that's fantastic. Now, can we please open our minds up to our first speaker from the negative, a professor of applied mathematics and the Associate Dean of Enterprise and Innovation at University of Melbourne. Please make very welcome Professor Kate Smith-Miles.
Okay. Props. All right. So, the negative team, Team Human, will argue that decision-making on all scales is better left to humans than relying only on machines running optimization algorithms. I'm going to start with the simplest decision we all have to make multiple times a day. And no, Kelvin, it's not who to sleep with. It's what to eat. Our field of optimization, many of you will know, was founded in World War II on the challenge of how to feed an army of men to meet nutritional requirements for minimal cost. An optimization problem, a classic one. This became known as Stigler's diet problem in 1939, since it was Stigler, working at the Pentagon, who first formulated that as a linear programming problem. The optimal decision, he found, was to feed the soldiers the following 5 ingredients every single day. They are liver, flour, spinach, cabbage, and dried kidney beans. Yes, Maria, disgusting, isn't it? Absolutely disgusting. I'm not sure how well the army cooks managed to turn that into something palatable, but I know it's not optimal to my palate. Stigler himself said, "No one recommends this diet for anyone, let alone everyone." Others have said that the solution to Stigler's diet problem is the human equivalent of a dog biscuit. In 2014, Google chef Anthony Marco took on the challenge of trying to turn those 5 ingredients into something fancy, a fancy dish, but he deemed it unfit for human consumption because he couldn't add butter or cream. So Stigler's 5 ingredients may be optimal in terms of nutrition and economics, but surely were not considered optimal by those poor humans who had to eat that dog biscuit every day. Just because we can make decisions using an optimization algorithm doesn't mean we should and that it is better, and that is our topic today, people. Can you imagine the impact on your social life if you left your eating decisions to a machine? You're out to dinner with friends and you say, hang on, I'll just check my algorithm to see what's the optimal choice. Or you invite friends to dinner and you serve them a human dog biscuit and you defend against their disappointed faces by saying, but it's optimal. Or even worse for your social life, you're at a friend's dinner party and you quickly check the optimality gap of the dish that they've generously prepared for you to see if it's an acceptable approximation to the globally optimal solution. They invited a human to dinner and you're behaving like a big, nerdy, antisocial machine. So, talk about how not to get invited to dinner again. Of course, the daily decision of how to feed yourself seems quite trivial and inconsequential.
30 seconds.
But raises deep philosophical questions related to one of the biggest decisions we face as a society in future years: how to feed the planet. Will food disappear as we know and enjoy it and be replaced by dog biscuits or meal replacement shakes because it's optimal? This is not a recipe for happy humans. Fundamentally, I believe decisions should be based on creating happy humans. We are not dogs, nor are we strings of binary digits. We are humans with complex biopsychosocial needs that a machine cannot fully fathom.
Time.
My colleagues on the other side will argue that optimization algorithms can make decisions that are better for humans if we humans give them information about human needs. They'll say, Mini-Zinc can handle anything. Yeah, Peter, I know. But we are kidding ourselves if we think that we can understand the complexity of human needs by fully modelling all objective functions and constraints. Some of you will have seen my public lecture about our failed attempts to create an artwork that tries to arrange some images into a montage in a way that's optimal to increase aesthetic appeal to humans. Despite our best optimization expertise, we could not find a mathematical objective function to create a solution as effortlessly as human intuition and artistic creativity. So, I hope I have convinced you, settle down, Peter. So I hope I've convinced you that decision-making is not better left to machines than humans, because machines can't always understand and cater to all that humans need holistically to be happy. Humans are far too complex. We are not black and white like a computer with its binary digits. We don't even live in the grey zone. We are rainbow-coloured, and we need decision-making that sees the whole rainbow in full colour. Now, I know this is extra time. This is not a bribe. Please don't misunderstand. This is not a bribe in extra time. It's a thought experiment, a colourful thought experiment. An optimisation algorithm would never tell you it's optimal to eat chocolate. No way. But you are human with your own desires and instincts, and you know what you want. So be human and make a decision like a human and enjoy it.
Okay, I think that's for people. People can more than, yes. Now, can we just keep a note of, okay, you've got several there. I just want to make sure, get some data points here, the people who did take the bribe and how they will eventually vote. I think that was a great case in point. It's hard to ask the person who asked you to come and moderate the debate to go and sit down. I see now why I got the gig. Okay. That was fantastic. I think it was a very interesting way to convince you by breaking the rules. And being someone as an example of human thought, all messy and unconscionable. So anyway, that was fantastic. Thank you. Opening up for the negative. Okay, so moving right along. Are we excited by this? Has anyone made up their mind already? Put up your hand. Oh, no, you don't do that, do you? Okay, so we have our second speaker for the affirmative, a senior research scientist at CSIRO's Data 61. Please make very welcome Dr. Savandi Kandanarachi.
Well, I don't have chocolates, but let me tell you, look at that team. There's Kate Smith-Miles, Peter Taylor, and Vivek. And if you look at what they've done in their whole career, Kate has led multiple organizations and centers. Optima, the center, the base of which is optimization and making better algorithms, enabling humans live better lives. So to take the machines do the decision making. Peter Taylor, he was the director of ASEMS, the center again enabling the machines do the work so that humans can chill, right? We're not talking about these dog biscuits in 1915. What is this? We are in 2020. We've got the stuff. We've got the better things. We are continuously evolving, right? And think of it, the reliability of algorithms. Do you really want someone to be there at the traffic lights and say, come this way, come that way, stop? All those things. Or do you want to do the weather forecast yourself, solving all those differential equations and doing these big models? We want the machines to do it, right? Whether you're going to imagine if okay, is it going to rain today or not? Am I going to take an umbrella or not? We are relying on these things day in and day out. And that is because impartially, we've got to think of it. We love it because it is most of the time, 95% of the time, it's correct. There is a small error, but we are getting better at it, and that's going to go down, right? So things like, is there a lift operator anymore? So there was a time long ago when there was a lift operator so that they can optimize. No, we've already done these things. Traffic lights or the weather forecast, or even if you think of something like divorces. In many countries, divorce rates are over like about 50%-ish. Like, for example, of course, I'm not suggesting we should give this over to the machines, but any simple algorithm can make a better prediction, right? What is this team they're overdoing? I don't know. They are really on our side all their lives. I've got the utmost respect for them, for their work over their careers, to think what they're telling today is not history. It's a big lie. They're playing it. It's a big lie. That's what I want to tell you.
Thank you so much, Savandi. Officially going back on the history of the opposition and getting them cancelled. At least negating what they've got to say. Sorry, hey, are you suggesting that couples become triplets now with a machine involved? Is that? I don't understand. How does the machine? Okay, so that was fantastic. A big round of applause for Savandi. That was awesome. I just really love that energy there. I don't mean to take sides. Okay, so we've got a follow-up to that. Are you ready? Speaking for the negative on Team Human, I have here a PhD candidate from here at Optima and, believe it or not, recently returned from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Oh, way to go. Please make welcome Vivek Katyal.
So you have certain people on the other team. They think the future is already decided. Tech comes down from our brains or the heavens. It dictates how everything works. It'll solve climate change, he says. I say no. All tech needs to be human. If we are impacted by technology, we need to make sure that it's fair for everyone. Kate just talked about decision-making for food. Leave it to robots. I'm not someone who wants to eat dog biscuits for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I agree, machine learning models aren't going to capture my love for peri-peri chicken at Nando's at maybe 1 a.m. in the evening. So if you want to say that machines are better, let's see you eat dog biscuits for 1 year and tell us whether or not it's going to work. People will say you can update the models or you can add your cost function, account for enjoyment, but then you have a human in the loop. So do you want humans to make decisions or machines? Decision-making to machines can also be really expensive. At NASA, one of the missions they ran in the late 90s was the Pathfinder mission. Robot went on Mars, touted as a huge success. It finds a rock. Now, after running a few scans on the rock, because of the limitations on the sensors, we don't know if it's an igneous rock, a sedimentary rock, or is it debris from an asteroid or a meteor. A geologist could have answered that question in a matter of minutes. $3.5 billion was spent on that, and they couldn't answer a simple question. Back here on Earth, machines are already making decisions. If we use Google's image recognition AI, it predicted a Western dress as a bride, Western bride dress as a wedding dress, and an Indian one as a costume. Facebook's AI is creating misinformation, exacerbating the problems that we saw in the COVID. So I say machines are already making decisions, and they're not working, so why don't we try be human a bit more?
I thought that was a pause for dramatic effect. Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Lovely. I love how people are taking on board and actually starting rebuttals early. Just trying to take down the opposition. That's great. Anyone triggered by dog biscuits? There seems to be one of the main points now. They have a what's that? The only point. I'm sure dog biscuits are very nutritious. So thank you so much. Okay, as we go on, has anyone actually changed their mind so far? Has anyone made up their mind so far? Oh, tentative. This is like, it's all right, the wave function might collapse, so we'll get to that. Okay, next up, who do we have next? Are we on our third speaker already? Oh, this is so good. We now have, for the affirmative Team Machine, I present to you a professor from Monash University and a pioneer in constraint programming, which, if you don't know, is a powerful method of solving discrete optimization problems. I wonder if this debate qualifies as discrete or just a way to sell dog biscuits. Please put your hands together and welcome Professor Peter Stuckey.
So our team's already talked about this. There's decisions out there which are too complex for humans to take, and there's not enough time, right? But I'm going to tell you, humans are really bad at decision making. So we make decisions in two ways. We do fast thinking. It's a lion, run. Or we do slow thinking. You two stand in those bushes and I'll push the deer towards you, right? Where we plan, okay? To make complex decisions, you need to use slow thinking. The problem is that we're basically nomadic hunters. We've had 40 generations to learn about civilization. We're still nomadic hunters who are addicted to fat and sugar and salt because they were rare, right? So we're no different than our ancestors back there. And we use fast thinking all the time that we can get away with because you only had to use slow thinking very rarely as a nomadic hunter, right? And the problem is now life is really, really complex. If you go to the supermarket, there's 40 kinds of pastas. Who can make those kind of decisions? So you just do the fast thinking. Take what you take last year. And when you get to the checkout, stick the Tim Tams in the bag too. Hey, because chocolate apparently is necessary for life. No, it's because you've been trained by that supermarket to buy more things that you shouldn't buy. Yeah? So that's what fast thinking does. Fast thinking is really, really easy to manipulate. In fact, the world out there is manipulating you to do all kinds of things because you use fast thinking because you're lazy, because we're all lazy, right? So what you're better off doing is having the fridge decide what to buy, right? Because it looks what you normally buy. It's not going to just buy dog biscuits, strangely enough, but it also knows things like the cream in the back of the second shelf is already off. Buy some more. You didn't even know that. Let the fridge do shopping. Do you really want to go shopping? I'd rather let the fridge do it for me. Clearly something for machines. But think about more complicated things. Think about air pilots. They go through a complex pre-checklist of things every flight, right? Why is that? It's to force them to use slow thinking, because otherwise they'd start doing fast thinking and they make mistakes, right? NASA astronauts the same. They go through very strong, long things, making them work like machines. And they're not even allowed to have pilots and co-pilots which work together for too long, because then they end up having fast thinking shorthands and they stop being safe, right? When we want to do some complex decision making, we have to use slow thinking, right? Slow thinking is the only way to do it right. And strangely enough, machines do slow thinking all the time, but they do it fast, all right? So there is no point to
30 seconds.
there are plenty of decisions you make during your life, right? Most of them will be fast thinking, most of them will be useless. And in fact, fast thinking and the tribe mentality we're really designed to be in this 30 to 50 group people is exactly what's behind the fast thinking which drives racism, sexism, every kind of ism you want to come up with. Is that what we want? Humans are terrible at making decisions. We know that. Let's let the machines do it because they will do a much better job. They're always slow thinking, but they do it fast.
Okay, very convincing there. Not that I want to join the debate necessarily. I do need to say, anyone thought what I thought when you heard about the issue with 40 types of pasta? Just follow the dog biscuit model. My dog eats the same thing every day and isn't affected in any way. Thank you so much. So a big round of applause for the affirmative. Okay, so now we have our final speaker for Team Human. I'd like to present Professor of Operations Research at University of Melbourne. Please welcome Professor Peter Taylor.
So thanks, Simon. I am going to concede one point to our opposition, which is Kelvin's point that the most important decision we ever make is who to sleep with. In fact, I'm going to go a little bit further and say the most important decision we ever make is who to choose as our life partner. And I'm going to argue strongly that when it comes to this decision, and that's all we have to do, show there's one decision that humans can do better than machines, humans are far better. So I'm going to do this without claiming that humans are perfect. I've been married twice myself, so obviously I'm not in a position to do that. But I am going to argue that humans are much, much better. So, and let's talk about what the decision making is. It could be the sort of partnering that we have here, mostly in Australia, where people meet someone, spend some time with them, decide to spend their life with them. But it could also be the sort of matching systems happen in other cultures, like using intuition of community elders, family members, professional matchmakers, friends to decide who to partner with. So I started off by doing some research. To be fair to our opponents, I have to have a look at their case. And it was at some risk to my digital footprint, I entered partner matching algorithms into Google. The next time I Googled, I got presented with Farmer Wants a Wife. And I found some academic papers. Liesl Shirabi wrote something called Finding Love on a First Data. And Eli Finkel wrote a much more drier paper, Online Dating, a critical analysis from perspective of psychological science. That's 64 pages. Shirabi quotes something that says 1/3 of marriages in the United States between partners are introduced to each other online. But it doesn't say they made the decision online. Finkel says, well, what do the online dating platform produce? They produce access, communication, and matching. Now, access and communication are just enabling. Matching, well, that's still not a decision. Then he goes into some things. I learned some things about these dating apps. I mean, apparently eHarmony and OkCupid use regression models. In the latter case, independent variables based on matching percentages and applied answers to questions such as, are you afraid of death? Would you date someone who keeps a gun in the house? Do you believe in dinosaurs, and is an astrological sign all important in a match? And Grindr uses a system similar to the ELO ranking that was first developed for chess players. And Hinge is the most interesting one from an academic point of view, because that used the Gale-Shapley algorithm to come up with stable matching. Now, what's a stable matching? There are no two people who would rather be with each other than the partner they have been recommended. That's a bit hard to get your head around. That is, for each individual, there's no one else in the dating pool they would prefer who would also be interested in them. So they look at their matching problems as a two-sided market. Shapley and Alvin Roth won the 2012 Nobel Prize in economics for this. Gale didn't. Unfortunately, he did what any potential Nobel Prize winner should not do. He died in 2008. So there's obviously potential for bias to creep in on the basis of sexuality, gender, and race. And just to illustrate this, another person who won the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Science was John Nash. And I don't think he said anything specifically about partner matching, but there is a scene in the famous movie about his life, A Beautiful Mind, where Nash was played by Russell Crowe. John Nash and 4 colleagues are in a bar. Nash is sitting there working on his economics, the other guys are drinking, and 5 women walk in. 5, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? 5 guys, 5 women. It's got a lot of gender and sexuality stereotypes, but let's go with it. The 5 women are all attractive, but one of them is more attractive than the others. And Nash's colleagues quote the famous economist Adam Smith, who said that the best outcome is achieved by everyone pursuing their selfish choice. And they're all about to approach the most attractive woman. Nash is sitting there, and he points out it as wrong. The most likely outcome, if that's what they all do, is that none of them end up with any of the women. On the other hand, he points out if one of the economists approached one of the other women, that person most likely will be successful.
30 seconds.
This is what algorithmic thinking does. It reduces the whole thing into really, really deterministic, not very nice decisions. So we're left with Finkel's conclusion. Despite grand claims to the contrary, it's unlikely that any matching algorithm based upon data collected before people have encountered each other can be effective at identifying partners who are compatible for a long-term relationship. Thank you.
Okay, are you convinced? Keywords from our speeches will be coming out soon. I've already chosen the ones for Professor Taylor. Divorce, Grindr, and Russell Crowe. I think that categorises it very well. I just heard the mention as well of Farmer Wants a Wife. I'm thinking of a really good one. It's called Professor Wants a Grant. Do you think that'll get legs? Could you imagine the emotion that the professors show? I just want to get a grant that's going to fulfill my needs. Okay, that was fantastic. We are now in the position to hear some rebuttals. Do you need more time? Are you okay? We've already heard rebuttals from both sides. They really haven't followed the rules, have they? All right. Are we ready? Well, let's actually hear rebuttals from the affirmative. We'll hear again from Professor Peter Stuckey. Put your hands together.
of decision making, Kate very clearly showed that humans are incapable of making decisions under constraints. Okay? She cannot keep to the time constraint, completely failed, tried to cheat. That's what humans are like. Okay? So let's start with that. Now, she did say that we're interested in decision making on all scales. So let's remember that. I'll come back to that because the second speaker talked about we need things to be fair for everyone. Well, let's look at the famous examples of recidivism AI. Very famous bad example of AI. It's provably racist. Okay? That sounds really, really bad until you realise that provably racist is a lot better than the human who's never provably racist. And indeed, with modern technology, I can build a recidivism checker AI system which is provably not racist. And I can never do that with a human. All right? So to be fair to everyone, we need AI. AI can be provably fair to everyone. Humans will never be. Right? The second speaker and the third speaker also talked about we need a human in the loop. We need a human in the loop. So that's fine if you want to always put a human in the loop. We can't trust the decision machine. We have to have a human in the loop. So we're going to change the airbag in your car so there's a button. It'll flash when you if you decide to release the airbag, right? And the anti-lock braking will have a flashing light. And if you tap the brake at the right time, you'll get no skid. Yeah, human in the loop. That's a really good idea. No, it's a terrible idea. Humans in the loop just make everything worse. Right? We need to allow AI to make decisions for us. AI making decisions for us makes our life much easier, much better. We rely on it. Someone was talking about, imagine if you didn't take something to a party, I can't remember what it was. Imagine if you didn't take this to a party. You'd be screwed, right? I mean, this is your life. You rely on AI to help you make every decision. Yeah? So let us not forget that, I'll finally finish with a life partner. It was great to have an example where less than 45% of people, they do slow thinking. It's an example where you do slow thinking. You don't make a life partner choice quickly. It takes years or months or whatever, right? And most of us get it wrong. 45% of marriages end in divorce, right? So even when we've got lots of time and we actually use slow thinking, humans are terrible at making decisions. And our third speaker already gave me himself as an example of that. So thinking fast, see, I can juggle. And that's the kind of thing that if Kate had thrown it properly, I would have caught it with ease. But see, Kate can't juggle, and that's the difference. And that really shows you the difference between our teams. We think, we because we follow machines, have logical thing but fast. And, Kate just thinks slow.
30 seconds. All right. I should have set the ground rules that no one was allowed to throw anything before we got started, but you know what? I didn't think I needed to say that. Maybe that's just because I used old human thinking. All right. That was great. Are you now convinced? Still not. Which means we have one more speaker. For the negative, please put your hands together for rebuttals, Professor Peter Taylor.
So I'm going to start out by reiterating something that Simon mentioned at the start, that the decision about who wins this debate is made by you guys, humans. So you've got two choices. One is you vote for our team, in which case you're right. But if you vote for them, it means that you're not good decision makers. It means that you're wrong and we still win. So the game is over. I'll also point out that Peter called you guys lazy and Kate gave you guys chocolates. Whose side do you want to be on? And I'll also point out that they're the affirmative. They're making the general statement. As every mathematician knows, to negate something, you've just got to find one counterexample. And I think we've established that easily. I'll also specifically address some of the claims made by my colleagues over here on the affirmative case. Kelvin mentioned getting here via Google Maps, Uber, and the lift, which is pretty complicated in this building, we have to agree. Most of us came up the stairs. But we don't need an app to get here, Kelvin. Maybe you do, but most people don't.
Don't harass one another, please. Code violation.
Savandi made some lovely comments, and we like Savandi a lot. But if she thinks that the output of the computer is what turns up on the weather forecast, that's not the case, right? You need this person to draw a nice picture with little isobars on it and things like that so humans can understand it. And as regards Peter, well, it's nice to see Peter mentioning the work of yet another Nobel Prize winner in economics. He certainly read the book Fast and Slow Thinking by Daniel Kahneman, and he quoted some things pretty well out of that. But I'll just tell you, I've read that book too, and Kahneman does not come to the conclusion that machines are better decision makers than humans. And in fact, I just want to quote another book recently read by a laureate fellow like Kate and myself, Toby Walsh. He's just written a book called Machines Behaving Badly, and I think you should all go and have a good look at it because you see the consequences of allowing machines to make decisions. Thanks, everybody.
Fantastic. The Peters have gone head to head. We're seeing a little bit, I'm seeing some sort of, I'm reminded of Good Will Hunting. Someone accusing someone else of like, yeah, I read the book too. Come up with some original ideas. Ooh, ouch. So look, it's come down to the time where you will be making a decision. Do we have a trophy? Actually, I think I've got something back there. Just a second. Oh yeah, here it is. So you will be deciding your favourite. This is the trophy, and it's also been a pivotal part of our debate. The winning team will win this. Ironic if it comes from the person who actually threw them out. But perhaps because this does need to be a decision made by you, I'm going to open it up to you guys. Does anyone want to ask a question? Not of me, obviously, of our team. Does anyone have any questions? Or you're happy to make your decision without asking questions? Oh, we do have someone over there. Oh, we got someone here. Is that okay if we just start with that one there? Yep. Okay. So, could you just say your name?
My name is Fiala.
Do you know that person? Okay, that helps. Ask your question.
What about who owns the AIs?
Okay, is that enough? Is that a well-structured question for you? Okay, go ahead.
So, who owns the AIs? So, the question is, why does Facebook cause people to become Nazis from being right-wing, right? It's not because the AI is evil and chooses to make people into Nazis. It's because Facebook wants you to click more, and that inevitably causes Facebook algorithm to decide that the best way to make you click more is to give you more and more Nazi material. So who owns the AI is a critical decision, but that's not a flaw of AI. That's a flaw of the people at Facebook who could easily make the advertisement random or something like that. They could get rid of this, but that would get rid of profit. So humans are making very evil decisions, making use of AI to implement those decisions. But those are very evil human decisions being made.
Okay, I think it's pretty clear there. We just need Skynet. Humans do not belong at all. Okay, we had another question. Do we have that roving mic somewhere? Oh, yes. Yes, sorry, yes, of course. Sorry about that. We got a bit ahead of ourselves. Yes, we'll hear from both. Is that working?
Well, it says it's working. Oh, there we go. Who owns the AI? We've all seen the Hollywood movies. That is an outstanding question. We all should be terrified of decisions being made by machines. So go Team Human. Yay.
Oh. That was great. Okay. Another question over here. Yes.
Hi, there was a lot of talk of matching problems. The other classic matching problem is organ transplants, like kidney transplants. Would anyone like to have a doctor eyeball the transplant list, or rather a machine go through the entire list and many criteria?
Matching problems, yes. Okay.
Yeah, that's just another example. Organ transplant matchings is one of the critical decisions, absolutely vital for humans, always done by machine because, as we started this debate, most decisions now, many decisions in the world, are too complex for humans to take. They can't deal with very complex things. There are many things that just can't be done by humans anymore. Humans don't make good decisions.
Ooh. That one's working?
So the organ matching problem's a really interesting problem. Essentially, just to summarise for people who may not have seen it, you've got a bunch of donors and you've got a bunch of people who need an organ, and they each have different compatibilities, and it's a matter of trying to come up with the best matches. And it's the same as the Gale-Shapley algorithm I mentioned. It's a way of doing it. It's actually a bipartite matching problem, which I think is a simplification. Maybe that applies to the organ donor, not necessarily partner matching. But there are some, the actual current state of the art on that is still not what I would argue very good. It assumes you've got a certain number of donors and a static set of donors and a static set of recipients, but of course that's not true. Donors turn up, donors leave. Unfortunately, people who don't get matched, maybe recipients don't get matched sometimes, drop off. So it's actually a dynamic problem. We're still working on it. I've actually just had a PhD student who's just submitted looking at these things. They are very interesting problems, but we're nowhere near in the state where machines can answer them very well.
Just better than humans.
Well,
And can I just ask, Peter, how many attributes are we using to describe a human in these algorithms? How many pieces of information do we use about a human to summarize their life and what it's worth? Like 8? Humans are not binary strings. We are rainbow coloured, and I think critical decisions like who deserves an organ is not determined by a list of 8 attributes. Yeah.
okay. Very
Can I-
good. I will say that eHarmony has 29 dimensions of compatibility, but I don't know if that means anything. Yes, one more, yeah.
Can I point out the irony of this? Professor Peter Taylor on the other side is devising an algorithm to make better decisions on organ matching. Hint, hint.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, so, all right. I'm going to ask this question, just because we've got other things that we can do after this. Is anyone still on the fence? That's who I'm going to allow for the next question. Any swinging voters? Oh, are you on the fence? How many other people do we have on the fence? This is going to involve putting up your hand. Am I getting into trouble with this? One here. Would you like to ask a question? Yeah, and one here. Okay, we'll have 2 more, and then that will be it. And maybe, do you want to hear from as many people as you have already? I don't know how to control these people. All right. Yeah, could you actually say your name? That'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm Toby.
Toby, yep. What's your question, Toby?
So I hadn't heard much about like politics and the more social inclusion of AI. And I guess at the end of the day, we can now, from your debate, say that the two are going to go together. Human and AI are going to live together, coexist. In the terms of politics and stuff like that, where would we put in the hierarchy of humans and AI? Who would make the final last decision?
You suggesting an AI for Prime Minister? Okay, so, thank you. Please, this is going to be interesting.
Well, can I just say, this is a debate that is intentionally binary. We're being forced to say this view or this view, and every single one of us here knows exactly, we share the same perspective, which is the truth is in between, right? We all believe, hand on heart, that decisions are best made by, all of us except Peter Stuckey believe that decisions are best made by a human assisted by a machine or a machine assisted by a human. But that is not our debate topic. We are being forced to choose. And so you either agree with what they're saying, that decisions are always best made by a machine, or we win. So there you go.
These mathematicians seem to read a quantifier which isn't there. Interestingly, are humans better made by decisions better made by humans than machines than humans? Yes. That doesn't say are all decisions better made. It says are in general, because this is natural language. This is not mathematics. Okay.
One counterexample is all that's needed. We've provided many.
Yes. And if you believe that, and you can only think mathematically when you hear an English sentence, then be fine. Just be a machine and just think about it that way and vote for them. But if you're actually human, then you'll realise that this is actually not a quantified formula, and clearly we're correct.
Okay, mic's down. Okay. We might have to ride the mic. Just switch it off if they talk too much. Okay, so I love the fact that we heard Kate just go, in actual fact, the problem is the debate. It's the binary structure. Let's tear it down. Okay. I did promise one more question over here. Do we have that roving mic? I'll pass that. Okay. Now, hopefully everyone has made up their mind by now, except
Hi
for
guys.
this person.
My question is, not really a question. This week, somebody submitted a AI-generated artwork to a competition and won the competition. I just want to hear your thoughts on AI-generated art and AI-generated music in the future.
For decision making. And what was your name, sorry?
Eddie.
Eddie. Thank you, Eddie.
Eddie, look. I've written a whole paper on this. Humans do it better. We tried to get a machine to do it. We failed. I'm a musician. I have strong opinions about the value of computers generating music. Dorian agrees with me, don't you? I see her at the MSO all the time. Real musicians.
So the evidence that you bring up is that an AI presented a piece of artwork, and I assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was unlabeled, that it wasn't known that it was an AI decision made, or they did know, or they did not know. They didn't know. Okay, so then there we have evidence that the machine has determined what is the aesthetic priority of the human, right? And what kind of ideas could be synthesized into a piece of artwork to garner their affection, right? What was the rest of the question?
Basically, what you've got is an example of the Turing test where the AI passed. Just all more evidence that we're right.
I'd like to say something about that because I did actually see that article in The Age this morning, and I don't think that machine was making a decision at all. How do you know? It was trying to make a piece of artwork in a category of digitally enhanced artwork, which they all were. The only difference between this and the others in that category was this was entirely machine made, and it beat a few. So what? It didn't make a decision.
No, it's just going to the point that AI is better than humans.
Okay. You're allowed one more. I'm just trying to keep tags of everyone who's talking. Do you want to say anything else?
I think we've made
Your silence is going to speak volumes. Okay. Big round of applause for everybody. Now, is everyone okay? Do you need any drinks or anything? There's no low glucose, are you going to be able to make a decision now?
They're humans, of course they
Yes. You're not, but you're a machine. Do you want to ask a question? Okay. Hang on, I have to give you, could you just pass this mic back? Just so, because we've got lots of machines listening to us. Hi, machines! Give me a job one day, thanks. Okay, go for it.
Thank you, Kate, and the human team. But just let me make two comments. First, when you discuss the biscuit decision, you give the poor machine just one option, the best solution, the optimal one. But then give the human many non-optimal solutions. Go ahead and do many things and just eat that candies, for example, okay? If you give the machines to add different options, it gives me more than a human, okay? In that case, the number of food varieties will be completely more than the human decision. Is that okay?
Am I speaking to Hussein the robot or Hussein the human right now? Because if I speak to Hussein the human, I would say the decision is described as, what do you really want, Hussein? What do you really want in life? And can you write down the mathematics for that equation, right? If I'm speaking to Hussein the robot, then the optimization problem is, I want to eat optimally, economically, nutritionally, and chocolate is not there. But
yes.
Hussein, you took the chocolate.
Yes.
Hussein the human took the chocolate, not Hussein the robot.
Yeah. That's the point. This comparison is not a fair comparison. You tell the robot gave me an Optima.
No one says debates have to be fair, Hussein, the human.
What you want to do, okay? And the second one is about the piece of art. So they give us a...
Hang on, we should really, for fairness, we should be able to hear from you, or he seems like he's on your side anyway.
Yeah, I think he's on our side. I'm not sure that I want him to be speaking.
All right.
Just one more comment about the art, piece of art.
It's going to be a question for both sides.
Yeah. No. Just comment.
No. I still have a shred of authority here.
So
you're going to ask a question that both sides can answer.
Because there is no...
Give me your chocolate back. You're not getting it. That's all right.
So, because there is no poor machine here to defend himself, I just want to defend them. So about the piece of art, they show us that humans are better in art. Who say that? this art is better for human. But what if machine decide that it's not better art? What if in this case?
Okay.
Read our paper, Hussein. We're in the paper. We showed with 30 swaps with human eye, we could improve aesthetic appeal to humans. Big survey done, asked lots of people, versus 20,000 iterations of an algorithm that could not come close. It's pretty convincing, I think.
So again, about the art
For-
is
for
good
But
the-
it's not
hang
about
on,
making decisions.
Hang on. Sorry, I think I have a little bit. Am I like the Governor General here? Okay, so I think because this is a democracy, I want everyone to make their decisions now. You are more than welcome to ask some questions afterwards. Thank you so much. Round of applause for Hussein, is that right? Thank you. And give me back. Thank you very much. Oh, power of the people. Okay, now, I'm going to do this one way, and if it doesn't work, I'll do it another way. I'm going to do this by applause, because that way you can sort of keep your anonymity. But if you put your hands up, we will know for sure. Okay, so by round of applause, does anyone need a summary? Oh, thank you for not saying yes, please summarize. Okay, so now for the affirmative. Team Machine, please put your hands together if you agree and say that they are indeed the winners. Okay, how long you do it doesn't matter. We can just take we're taking the peaks here, okay? Okay, and for the negative. And now, let's take away the chocolates. Take away the chocolate factor and clap again. I think it's pretty clear. Who are the winners? Oh, okay, I thought it was clear. Democracy doesn't work. I'm pretty sure I heard, was it that side there? Yes? Are we in agreement? Okay. All right, well, big round of applause. I do have a prize. Isn't that ironic? There you go. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for making this debate so fantastic. Thank you, everyone at home and machines watching. See if you can replicate that, huh? You can't, no. And now we've got, yep. So everyone is welcome to have some treats. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Do any of these work? Oh, that one works. Before everyone goes, huge thanks to Simon for joining us today. He's made it very entertaining and drew a crowd, and we're very grateful. Thank you, Simon.